we're back here with Jim Self, creator of Mastering Alchemy and also author of What Do You Mean? The Third Dimension's Going Away. And speaking of that book, which was an excellent book, I wanted to talk to you for a few minutes, if we could, about we know that each of us have masculine and feminine aspects. It's not about the sexes, but it is true that by nature it does seem to follow some of those characteristics. You talk about straight lines for men and curvy for women.
Right. So this is an evolution, and just like the evolution we're talking about where you're moving through these dimensions, there's characteristics and applications and structures that each one of these layers of consciousness provide. And so in that third dimensional world, let's go back hundreds of years, pretty much you got bodies. You don't ever think in terms of characteristics or behavior patterns. Then in the more recent, last 50 years, 30 years, you began to have more of a consciousness about not gender that's a big piece of it for many, but basically how we each interact with one another. And there's times where you're soft and there's times when you're firm, and those kind of words come in, and so we've labeled them more masculine and feminine traits. And so you're moving, again, more into this fourth and fifth dimensional space. But one of the things that occurs is when you begin to really understand some of these aspects that structure masculine energy and feminine energy, and you start to step into these next level of dimension, you start to realize that it really is all about you and how you experience and how you create. And so when you understand, for example, in simple terms, that words and thoughts, again, it all comes back to how you structure your mental body and your emotional body. And they were never meant to be two bodies. They also separated in the fall of consciousness. But when you can begin to step into this kind of next level of consciousness and you realize really simple things like masculine energy is, in geometry terms, is straight lines and angles, and feminine energy is swirls and curves. There are no straight lines and angles. And so when you start to look at words and you say, is it a masculine word or a feminine word, or masculine trait or feminine trait, words like certain, capable, precise, focused words are more of a masculine kind of leaning words. You can kind of see the straight lines and the edges in those kind of words, whereas gracious, kind, laughter, amusement, appreciation, those don't have any straight lines in them. So when you start to, again, play with words, choosing the words and the emotions, you begin to create a structure. There is a necessity for both straight lines and curves, because sometimes there's a point where you need to be strong and precise, very clear, focused. Other times you can be softer, you can have less definition to the edges. Well, I think we could do it more or less like this. What do you think about this as a possibility rather than this is the answer and that's all there is to it?